Alright, evilslothman there, Cyberlanky here. For those of you who caught the GameCube collection comparison vid, we're going to do another one, which is for our DS collections.
Yeah.
So we'll start off once again with
the doubles.
So we got Yoshi's Island.
Yes, very, very, very tricky game. Very, very hard.
Especially if you've played the SNES version, it's insanely hard. Got Mario Kart.
DS, one of the better Mario Kart games.
And finally,
New Super Mario Bros.
Speaks for itself.
Yeah, it really does. Right, next one we're going to do is like split off, and that is the Super Mario Bros. 64 DS. Very, very tricky to control without the 3D stick. I know because I've been going through the 64-bit version the last few days, and it is a hell of a lot better. Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, very, very funny game. Lots of different and unique controls for the DS.
Okay, got a double here. We got Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games and Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games, both obviously very similar to each other. Winter Games is by far the harder of the two, but overall I would say that Olympic Games is the best, mainly because you can customize tournaments into sort of 6 separate events and pick them in free mode, whereas Winter Games is far more limited in that effect. But definitely try and check them out, but if you're dithering, definitely take summer.
It's cheaper as well at the moment.
Yes.
Right, I got Final Fantasy IV there. This is a game I picked up when I was in Canada. Very, very nice game. It's been done up in the graphics to 3D. Its story is pretty damn awesome. Very good game. This is the other one, is Chrono Trigger and is also very, very, very good game. I have let the Japanese version on the SNES, but as it is Japanese, I can't understand it. So this has been very, very good in helping it through. I am a fair bit through of it.
Okay, next I've got another double. We got Lego Batman and Lego Indiana Jones. Both very similar. It's just like Lego Star Wars. So if you loved Lego Star Wars, then definitely check both of these out. I would say between the two of them, where we go? Yeah, there, two of them. Indiana Jones is the superior one for me, basically because it's got full motion cut sequences, whereas the Batman one is done like a comic, which is pretty neat, but it's slightly less involving. If you know, it doesn't hold your attention as well.
Next one is Trauma Center Under the Knife. This is actually a really tricky puzzle gamer that goes through different kind of operations. You know, it's not exactly accurate, but it's going off and it has its own plot line and storyline, how working you up and through different hospitals. Now, once you get to a certain point, it comes in with all these kind of viruses and everything that are very, very tricky to do, and it just starts attacking the patients and everything. It's just like, okay. The next one is Meteos. This is a very, very tricky puzzle game. It goes through like different planets where you're doing the puzzle. It's like a puzzle thing where you switch colors to make blocks to certain colors, so it pushes off into the atmosphere. Except that each gravity has different speeds and different weights and everything, and to get them to actually go up is a pain in the arse. And Drill Spirits, Mr. Drill or Drill Spirits, again, a quite tricky game. It's all about going through and drilling different blocks to push you down further into the ground, and you're having to find air pockets so you can actually breathe, and it gets very tricky getting further down because you have to work through different bits.
Okay, next up for me, got a recent pickup, which is Star Fox Command. Took me ages to find it, but I managed to get it for less than a tenner. It's a combination between real-time strategy and the usual Star Fox flight, shooting the shit out of little alien spaceships. The main problem with it is that to fly you have to use the stylus, which is incredibly fiddly.
Yeah.
But if you can get past that, it's a really good mix between real-time strategy and shooting the shit out of things. So try and keep an eye. I would try and aim not to pay much more than £12 or £15 for it.
Yeah. Alright, next two are going to be the Pokemon Blue Rescue Team, not Mystery. It's Mystery Dungeon. And I wasn't entirely keen on it. It's all about you wake up as a Pokemon one day and you have to go through this cold dungeon where you're going to do certain missions to go in there. But the dungeons work like, I think it's not specific Pokemon the series it's based on, but you're actually moving about and trying to, every time you move, other people move, and you have to actually position yourself to do attacks and everything. It was quite annoying and fiddly. Whereas the next one, this is a standard Pokemon Diamond, and as you can see, it's an American version, black box, very thin. It's very good, except that it's pretty much like if you've played Sapphire, you've played that. Most of the innovation's not really there. I'm presuming that the next actual new one after Soul Silver and Heart Gold will actually be the one that takes full advantage of the DS.
Just to keep with the Pokemon theme, I have Pokemon Platinum, which is basically the DS version of Pokemon Yellow, which is a combination of Diamond and Pearl. What can I say? It's Pokemon. I've not finished it yet, but I haven't really played Pokemon properly since Red on the Game Boy, and as a result, I'm determined to get through this just to say that I've finished another Pokemon game.
Right. Next one is Kirby Superstar Ultra. Try again. Yeah, there we go. Right. This game is very, very good. It's like a remake of the SNES game. Well, it's not a remake. It's basically porting it with some added extras. So it's like 6 half-hour games, and you get your scores, and you unlock other games in there. But it also has some DS-specific mini games that they've put into there, which are really, really fun as well. And the price I got it for was excellent.
Next up for me, I got WarioWare Touched. One of the better ones in the WarioWare franchise. If you're not aware of what WarioWare is, there's a tongue twister for you. It's basically a succession of micro games that last for about 3 seconds, but they just keep coming and coming and coming. It's very intense. For me, this isn't the best one in the series. The best one's still probably the original on the GBA, but definitely check it out if you see it.
Right, next one is Sonic Rush. And this is a game that I absolutely love. I went through it and bought it really... Well, I'm a huge Sonic fan, so I was going to buy most stuff. But going through it, it's just the level design is really well done. The bosses are awesome, and I had nothing wrong with it. That's why I'm looking really forward to Sonic 4, because they're developing Sonic 4.
Next up for me, Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, March of the Minis. Basically, if you loved the Game Boy Donkey Kong 94, you will, which we both love, you will absolutely adore this. Instead of playing as Mario, you play as little toy Marios. Have to guide them through the level, and obviously, there's lots of puzzles and traps. You've got to try and get them to the exit. The graphics are absolutely brilliant for the DS, especially the cutscenes. So if you do see this, it can be quite hard to get a hold of. If you do see it, definitely give it a look.
Right, we'll go through some more here. This is Dragon Ball Origins, and as you see, they're kind of like these 3D RPG games, kind of like the Zelda series, which is where I'm going to base Naruto off of as well. But these are very, very well done games, all three of them, and going through use of stylus to control, to attack, to access certain parts of it, and all the stories are really good. And yes, I did actually finish the Fat Mario Glass, which is rare between a lot of people I've spoken to. I am working my way through Spirit Tracks, but it has been a while since I've touched it, to be fairly honest.
Next one up for me, if you watched the GameCube one, you'll know that I love Resident Evil, so I had to get Resident Evil Deadly Silence. It's got 2 games in it. The first one is a direct port of the PlayStation original, complete with hammy acting, god-awful graphics. It does have one advantage, is that you don't have to select the knife separately. So it's like on the... so you basically just hold down the L button to get the knife to come out, like in Resident 4 and 5. The other version is Resident Evil Deadly Silence version, which is basically exactly the same game, except for it's got some first-person stylus puzzles in it, and also it's a hell of a lot harder because they've put tougher enemies in places, including the only safe haven, the main hallway. They have put dogs in there. Not nice.
Well, if you open the door in the front door in the game...
Yeah, but they're just there already. 3 of them.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not
Bugger.
nice.
Alright.
Anyway.
Right, this is my only Japanese DS game, which is Jump Ultimate Stars, and if you're a big fan of Super Smash Bros., I would totally check this out. This is basically Jump is the massive... Shonen Jump is the biggest Japanese anime, manga in Japan. They put out all the action kind of mangas and everything like Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, Ice Shield 21, Prince of Tennis. Lots of great games, and these all combine, and all the characters come from here. It'd be an absolute nightmare to port to the American, because everyone has different licenses for it. And that's why I'm still impressed that Tatsunoko got that thing for Tatsunoko vs. Capcom.
And finally, I think, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, finally, the ultimate in carpal tunnel games, Guitar Hero on Tour. I love this. I loved it so much that I bought the sequel, Guitar Hero on 2 Decades. Basically, it's Guitar Hero except you only have 4 buttons, which is more than enough. for one-handed. What can I say? It's Guitar Hero. There is a third one which you may know about called Modern Hits, but that sucks balls in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you want to cripple your hands, definitely check these out. If you love Guitar Hero, check them out. It's just so much fun, and the song choices are actually surprisingly good. It's a good mix, especially in the second one, Decades, it does have slightly more to offer, but both really worth it. Just for the fun of it, it's the novelty, really.
And as you can see, we probably rushed that a tiny bit because we were trying to get under the 11 minutes, and we're going to cut it fine even now. But there you go, that's the DS collections. And
more diversity between the two of us again.
Yeah, a lot more this time than there was to ever one. Yeah.
So this is Cyberlanky
and evilslothman out. Toodle Pipski.